Like you said, so Greg started quite a while ago, and for a company that started, and now when you look into the breakfast food, Greg surpassed McDonald's.
When we read about it now, it says that it's 7.4 increased than last year when it comes to their revenue or like for the sales at company compared to the last period. It said that it previously had a full growth year of 13.7% for its revenue in 2023. And they say that it has been crazy transaction volume with the revenue of £693 million.
Wow, that's a lot. So good.
Oh.
No wonder they have 2,500 stores in the UK.
Oh.
You know, and it's a growing company. And when I was preparing for the podcast, I was looking at the shares and the stock market around GREGGS, and everyone that bought GREGGS shares before the pandemic, they're super happy.
Hello everyone, welcome back to season 2 of Just Senator Marketing. Thank you for all the love that you gave us for season 1 and also good comments, too much of motivation and some really good tips which we are going to try and execute in season 2. We hope you're super excited to watch this season as we are coming up with amazing episodes ahead. So stay tuned to as what's going to happen in season 2. I am Prachi and I have Andre here with me. Andre is a marketing strategy consultant, as you all know, and I'm a luxury consultant. And in today's episode, we are going to start with a brand that is well known in the UK and I think around the world as well now, but it's the UK's leading food on the go retailer. We're talking about GREGGS.
So, Prachi, since we decided, obviously, to shift the in-person podcast to the online podcast, have you had any food on the go?
Oh, I think I am in Newcastle currently, and I did not know that GREGGS started in Newcastle. I didn't know that. And the other day we were just going around looking for places to eat in Newcastle, and we just hopped onto GREGGS. And I'm wondering, how is this store so big? I've never seen such a huge GREGGS store anywhere in London. And then the guy told me that this is where it all began. And that's how I started looking at the history of GREGGS. And in 1939 was it when it all started. And GREGGS just wanted to have his own bakery. So he was doing door-to-door sales and of bakery, and that impressed me in a way because it's really long back, and from that time the brand has continuously evolved. You being in London, Andre, you must be picking GREGGS like every now and then, is it?
I don't. No, unfortunately, because as you know, where I live, I don't have much convenience stores around or any kind of too good to go. Well, I do use Too Good To Go a lot, which is good. But no, I don't have GREGGS. I don't have any one of those fast delivery foods around, which is a shame because it's quite handy, especially when you're coming back home after work and you're hungry and there's nothing in the fridge. Just want to grab a bite quick. But I used to eat a lot when I was doing my master's in Brighton. I used to pick one at London Bridge Station all the time.
Oh, wow.
But like you said, so GREGGS started quite a while ago. And for a company that started, and now when you look into the breakfast food, GREGGS surpassed McDonald's. So when you look those numbers, that GREGGS, because when you think about fast food, the first that comes to mind, the first brand that comes to mind is McDonald's. It is McDonald's. It's losing market share over the years because of the entries and the other companies that are spending so much money and they're doing a good job and serving good food. But when you look at breakfast, fast food to go, GREGGS has took the first place. Isn't that incredible?
Crazy. I think it's in even when I was in Brighton, I don't remember one single day where I haven't bought GREGGS. And one thing for sure, as a student as well, Andre, I felt that it's so affordable that you just go and you just feel like taking it because they kind of put how do I put it, a framing effect. A framing effect is where they put their menu or they showcase their menu in certain way that you automatically feel that it is adding value to your money. So I just ended up getting a lot of things from GREGGS every morning before I went to work or before I attended the uni even. And when we read about it now, it says that it's 7.4 increased than last year when it comes to their revenue or like and like for the sales at company compared to the last period. It said that it previously had a full growth year of 13.7% for its revenue in 2023. And they say that it has been crazy transaction volume with the revenue of 693 million pounds.
Wow, that's a lot. So good.
Oh,
No wonder they have 2,500 stores in the UK.
oh,
And it's a growing company. And when I was preparing for the podcast, I was looking at the shares and the stock market around GREGGS, and everyone that bought GREGGS shares before the pandemic, they're super happy. They're super happy. It went down a little bit during the pandemic, but after the pandemic, it's just skyrocketed. So I wish I had some,
oh wow.
but I don't. Unfortunately, I don't. Especially because the food market, like we were talking, it has an estimated value of 23 billion pounds.
Oh my God.
So it is a lot of money going around, and that's only the food to go segment. It's not fast food as a whole, it's just the food to go segment. And it's expected to grow around 3% by 28. So, for example, it's really good for the economy and for the brands and the companies, for jobs and everything, that people are consuming more food on the go. But it worries me a little bit on the healthier side, because people are not spending time cooking food, they're not spending time eating health food. But, and I think Greg already saw that. It's already understanding that shift a little bit in people's mind, because they are expanding the target audience. As you know, it's mainly students and budget-friendly people, young adults on the go. So now Greg is also expanding it to vegan and vegetarian consumers, because as you know, they launched the sausage roll.
Yeah.
And I read an article on them. They are planning to expand their offering. So again, they are offering that type of food, but they're looking elsewhere as well, which is important.
I think vegetarian options, why also they open to expand, as you read in the article, and it's also seen that they are trying to expand their stores as well. They are trying to expand this year and in 2025 as well to more and more stores. One thing I like about them is they focus on CSR quite a lot, even though they are expanding. So I think that is one thing in branding and communications that has been important over the years, and it's growing in every possible way. And Greggs is trying to protect it in every way possible. May it be their breakfast foundation, or may it be their they recently talked about, even on their website, it's mentioned that their food has to be freshly baked. It cannot be just baked and be kept. So they have to tackle that, how much of production is gonna be consumed in this one day. So if there is any leftover, I like the fact that they check the stores around and see if there is any store who's in need of that food, and they just give it to them instead of wasting it. So I think that is one of the plus points that they have.
Yes, it is. And it's interesting that you mentioned that because I was looking their online sentiment just to understand what people talk about Greg.
Yeah.
And the two main things that people praise Greg's for are one, their staff, how friendly their staff usually is and helpful. And the second one is the freshness of the food. So again, this is just translating what the company believes into the actual product because it's fresh. They don't leave things for the next day or they don't produce more than what they're going to sell.
Exactly, exactly. And I had a myth of the packaged food, like, or of these foods that they don't taste really good. But I think Greg's just called it off when I had their first cheese and onion, this huge pie that they give, and I don't think I've eaten anything except that pie for the whole day because it was so heavy with one hot chocolate that
Really?
it went crazy. But Andre, like, we have to talk about the branding that this company is doing.
Yeah.
It be like colors or color psychology or their logo, or it's super cool.
So yeah, interesting that you said about the brand and the psychology behind everything. Because when I look the blue and the yellow, you know it's Greg. You know it is. You know, same thing when you look yellow and red, you think about McDonald's. So I think they are really clever the way they put the brand out there. And have you seen the social media, the Instagram?
Oh my, I we have to talk about it. First, I'm just going to like say one thing for the branding. The color psychology when we talk about it's blue and yellow when we see that they are hardcore food colors. So blue color represents that it is it kind of is a color of satisfaction. Like when you have it, you feel satisfied, and that is what exactly Greggs is doing. And there's an interesting study by Northumbria, and they had literally called up Greg's sales staff asking, what does it mean when you put the logo of four squares? What does that mean? Because you normally see it in Warburton's, the four squares, the bread. But Greg's literally said that there is no specific meaning for those four squares.
Right.
It's just a logo evolved over the years. So,
They go against everything that we know.
okay, and sometimes I think that it's even clever to not do a logo, especially because that has been evolved over the years. People have been familiar with what it is, and suddenly, best example, last year or I think 2 years back, Tiffany just tried to shift from its blue color to yellow color, and people went mad. So I think it's clever on Greg's part to not do a logo in particular and just let it evolve over the years.
Yeah, no, it is. And that also translates to one of the biggest strengths, which is a strong brand recognition.
Yes.
When we look those four pillars, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the first one, Greg's, it's definitely brand reach, brand exposure, all the pillars that are around brand. Greg is here.
For sure. And it's capturing the latest trends as well, as we just talked about their social media. I don't think they have left any stone unturned when it comes to their strategy, because recently I just saw that how they compared the Met Gala outfits to Greg's roles. And it shook me by like, how can someone think of that?
Yeah.
Because this Chris Hemsworth, who was wearing a beige colored suit and a trouser, and they compared it to their vegan sausage, the dress, that it looks similar to it. And it got really amazing views. They have integrated artificial intelligence in their social media. They have integrated every possible trend that's coming up. So I think they are even going to do something with Cannes now, because that's the festival that's upcoming.
Well,
So
I think if they start selling Chris Hemsworth sausage, that's going to sell a lot. That would sell everything.
yeah, because they can say, look at this, Chris Hemsworth is, associated with this sausage.
That's right. But I think the marketing team and the PR team, it's really, really, really clever because I don't know if you saw, not a while ago, they did this kind of, I believe it was a PR stunt. I don't think it happened by chance. So do you know Jordan North?
Yes.
From obviously the podcast we talked about,
Yes.
Help Us Sector My Boss, and he used to be a BBC radio presenter. He moved to Capital. And during his morning breakfast show, he said that he likes to have his sandwich with 3 sauces, right? And everyone was raving about it. Oh my God, that's outrageous. You can't do that. You have to have one or the other. So it was basically, if I'm not wrong, ketchup, mustard, and brown sauce, something like that, right? Or barbecue, one or the other. And then a few days later, Greggs was offering 100 sausage rolls with the 3 sauces for free in 5 cities in London. And they called Jordan. Isn't that incredible?
Oh my God.
Obviously, Capital and Greggs, they share the same target audience, which is young professionals, something on the lines of like 18 to 30 kind of thing. And from a comment that Jordan North made on the radio, someone contacted Greggs, and then Greg pulled this off in a week, I think.
Oh
How incredible is that for brand reach and brand for both brands, actually?
Yeah. I think it's that is what we talk about marketing when we say or talk about these things. Like you should be on toes. If not, if there is no trend, you create a trend. And that's what I think it is. I think it's communication. So if we take into account their social media, their branding, little things, or even how the staff is dressed up in that whole Greg's attire with a small cap and their apron, the blue colored apron, the way they interact, way that the Greg's has their branding all over the store entirely when you see it. There is recall in every step of the way that Greg is trying to do, even if it's PR. I think it's even for the brand awareness. People who don't know about the brand, but people who know about Met Gala or Jordan North, they immediately relate now to what Greg's is showing. So I think that's extremely clever. And I feel, Andre, they know about biobehavior in a much deeper level, at a much deeper level, because they know about these theories, these 3 theories, and they have just implemented it in a way, in the most subtlest way possible.
It is very subtle.
Yeah. Very subtle. We learned about, as I talked about before, the framing effect. They have placed their menu in a way that when you pay a certain amount to the company, you immediately have that satisfaction in mind that, okay, this is value for money. What I'm getting in return is a value, is that combo deal that I'm getting in return, and not just one item to eat. And second is the anchoring bias. I think we both learned deeply about it when we used to go out in between lectures to shop for snacking.
Yes. For the whole group, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Let's not dive deep into that story and what we did with the snacking.
Yeah.
But I think that's when we learned about anchoring bias. As I remember, we both used to check the prices. And for example, if there is a price increase, that was our first bias. But at the same time, what Greggs is doing with that is clever. Because even if it has an anchoring bias and it shows that it's £5, you don't get just hot chocolate in £5. You get that sandwich, you get that muffin, and you get that hot chocolate in £5 altogether. So now this has created that anchoring bias in my mind that the price increase I see, but that's again a value for money that I see.
Yeah, it is. And again, the target is price conscious. They wanna eat. Everyone wants to eat good food, tasty food. And Greg just matches the price and the taste because it's tasty. It is good. So I get my psychological reward, which is I'm saving my money, and I get the other side of the psychological reward, which is I'm eating good food. It's tasty. So it is a win-win for the brand.
It is for sure. And they have, if you see the social media, they always promote that there is a limited availability of some items. It's not always readily available. They do tell you that wait for some time, or this is over, or this is being baked. So you always have that limited paucity factor in mind, that it's limited for only
Yeah.
this time or for only this time. They're introducing a new, I think, the burger for a limited period of availability. So they have those certain goods and items in their mind, which they always keep for a limited availability. And that's the paucity effect that they very well know of. And there is this Indian brand, Andre. It's called Chitare, but it's a very Pune. It's a small city in India, and that's what this brand does as well.
Right.
Like the paucity factor, the paucity effect, that it's only available till this time.
You get or you lose.
You get or you lose. Exactly, exactly. So, do you think, Andre, marketers can learn something from this brand?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. One is, don't be afraid to be who you are as a brand. Greg knows their place in the market and is doing great because it's targeting the right audience for its product. So don't be afraid, right? But I have one thing to mention about Greg, that if I could change that, I would. So they have a gift card, for example.
Yes.
But they also have an app.
Yeah.
We know, and the market says, right, it is really difficult to make your consumer download your app and keep your app. Because our phones have limited spaces, and if I have to choose between the company app and a video of my dog, I know who's winning, right? So, for example, Greg, they have the gift card. So I can buy you a gift voucher on your birthday. I know you're a Greg fan. I'll buy one for you, right? But that gift card does not communicate with the app on your phone. So then all of a sudden I have my Greg app on my phone, and then I have my gift card, which ideally I would like to have those things communicating. So you give me a gift card, I can scan the code, and I don't know, that balance kind of, it's accessible on my phone. So when I visit Greg, I can use my phone to pay and deduct from a gift card. That would be a win reason for me to keep Greg's app on my phone. Right. Apart from obviously ordering and whatnot, but I think if you look, the offering for the gift card, for example, and having the Greg app on my phone, that would add value to the app, to that digital experience where I take Greg out of the store to my house. So marketers obviously could take this example and implement in any company. If you are a small businesses or if you are an international corporation, think about the usability. Why are you taking that space out of your consumer? That space on their phone, that space on their house with the product. So keep the usability in mind. Try to make the experience seamlessly and like a 360 experience for your consumers.
Got it. Fair point. I think also too many options available. Like you also have a card, like gift card, as you said, and an app, and something, and loyalty program. So I think again, as an audience or as a consumer, you get confused as to what, when, how. How does this work? How does that work? So, for example, if you just have one or two things in place, that won't confuse the audience as we speak about. And I think marketers can learn one thing from GREGGS is that their branding is extremely strong, and they're not afraid to try the latest trends that are going on in the digital world. As we grow ahead, we have to try and adapt. Every brand has to try and adapt to what is going to pick up in the next 5 years, but at the same time maintaining its own brand personality and DNA. So I think GREGGS is following that in a very subtle way, but communicating it really well. So what they're communicating comes across to us as audiences in the same way that they want to, and not the other way around.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
I think that is one very subtle thing that marketers can keep in mind. Like when you communicate certain thing, is the message that I want to communicate, is it the right message that is going to the audience, or it has a gap in between?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
So
And learn, please, especially small businesses. It doesn't matter what industry you are, you can create good content. You see, Greg, in the food and in the beverage and food industry, right? And they're talking about gala, the Met
yeah,
Gala outfit. How great is that? If you post only sandwiches and coffees, it's just a boring social media profile feed.
exactly.
But please have a look and learn, because that's what makes marketing, digital marketing, fun.
It is. And it's always new. Marketing, one thing about marketing and marketers are like they get to learn something new every single day, because there are so many trends and so many strategies and so many inspirations that you can take it from. And I think one of them is Greg's.
And it's not about copying
Yeah,
the other, but it's about understanding where the market is going and what your consumer wants to see and receive, what type of communication, and use that in your favor.
exactly.
Do your market research.
Do your market research. Nice. So, Andre, do you think we want to do a quick SWOT analysis for our audience and for marketers?
Yes, of course. Let's do a SWOT for GREGGS. So when we look on the strength side of things, definitely brand recognition, like we pointed out, about the colors, about the product, services, listing, and prices. The affordable product as well. It's a strength, and they're exploring that really well. Weaknesses, I would say, it can be perceived as a budget brand, and that sometimes can be harmful for the company. Opportunities, we touched a little bit on that, is obviously expand the product range to fit for vegan and vegetarians, because that market in the UK is around £1 billion.
Right.
So again, it's a share of the market that you don't want to miss out. And threats could be ingredient costs. We know prices are going up, and definitely the growing mindset of healthy food in consumers. So people are more conscious about what they eat and where do they eat. So Greg would have to tailor the message, and if it needs, tailor the products, producers, and everything. But yeah, when you're looking at SWOT, I would say those are the things that I could identify.
Right. That's cool. I think this just sums up what all we discussed in terms of everything. But yes, one nice brand to do research about, to have tasted it in person, to see how the user experience looks like, even on their website. It's very quirky. So yes, I think. Do you want to say something else? Do you want to add on something?
No, I think I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm hungry now, but
Yeah.
but no, all good. Yeah.
Great. Please don't forget to subscribe, so you immediately get notified when our new episode is going up. And we hope you liked, enjoyed. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram as well. We are posting some good content there, where we just analyze some recommendations and theories told by us in the episode. And we see you in the next one. Thank you.